how many people like their death row meals? You'd see pimento cheese sandwich. Okay, I've not had one, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say pimento cheese sandwiches are not the best food ever made. Hello and welcome to the Caddie Tales Podcast. I'm Mark the Caddie, joined as always by my sidekick, colleague, friend, fellow looper Nick. We're excited to talk to you about how the beautiful game of golf and this game of life that we're all in intersect so wonderfully. We can learn lessons in both arenas that hopefully help us grow as golfers, especially as people. We are excited to also be brought to you by Zero Restriction Golf. Check them out at zerorestriction.com. Type in the promo code BestBall20 to get yourself a nice discount. Great gear, especially for spring golf. In a lot of places, it can be wet. Zero Restriction will hook you up. I was a little disappointed, though, Nick. We were just talking to our producer who got back late last night from Scotland, and he was talking about what great weather he had. So I'm happy for him, but I'm kind of sad for him because he didn't get to sport his Zero Restriction wear.
Yeah, I'm sure he's real disappointed about that. But yeah, good for him. You might be able to wear yours tomorrow on your loop. Yeah. A little chilly here.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes, Nick has let the cat out of the bag there that tomorrow my season's going to start a little earlier than I thought. We have, other courses than Whistling Straits. Whistling Straits has a hard opening date every year. This year it's April 25th, but the other ones they'll open based on the weather. They don't get a ton of play because this isn't the type of golf courses that you get a lot of locals just deciding that day to go out and play and get a caddy and all of that. But there's some people lined up for tomorrow at 9:52, and I got the call to do it. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it's a nice way to ease in to the season. I'm a little nervous about how I'm going to feel out there. Didn't do as good a job as I should have done this year, this winter, getting ready for it. Working at the sober house in the evenings really kind of threw my whole routine out of whack. But I digress. Pretty excited about that. Bigger things in the golf world going on, though, than me getting a first loop, believe it or not, Nick. We are recording this, so they're about to tee off for the Masters. And, the Super Bowl of golf, really, just the Daytona, because, I always think it's interesting how in auto racing, their biggest race is the first race of the year. Well, kind of in golf, you got the same thing. Your first major, it's really hard to top that as we go throughout the season. This is as big as it gets. Certainly as nostalgic as it gets. We were talking before we came on air about how this is so romanticized. People, especially in the golf Twitter world where I spend a lot of time, and this is like people's main hobby. This is something that they look forward to with a deep, deep passion. How are you feeling about it? Are you excited to watch this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it kind of signifies the kickoff to the golf season for everyone. It kind of definitely for us in the north. We're starting to get a little nicer weather, and we're kind of going to be jumping into it. So yeah, that should be awesome. And it's an awesome tournament, and I just enjoy watching it. So yeah.
I read an article last night that I'm like, man, people have to find a way to be naysayers. Somebody wrote an article about how much they hate the par 3 contest. Actually, I think they wrote it last year and they just reposted it. I'm like, I don't know, call me a sap, but watching these players with their kids and getting humanized like that, I love it. I absolutely love it. And then there were super cool things that came out of it. A hole-in-one for Keegan Bradley. The putt made by Rory McIlroy's daughter, Poppy. I mean, that was the awesomest thing. And then I'm sitting there going, how fast are those greens at Augusta that putt went in, for crying out loud?
Yeah, I think that was just a straight downhill putt. But, yeah, they're quick, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on television. I mean, I hear that it doesn't do justice for people who haven't been there. If you just watch it on television. And the same is true about Whistling Straits, about how hilly it is there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I heard somebody yesterday, actually, it's a question I think gets posed every year to pros. What would so-and-so shoot if they came here for tournament conditions, in the tournament setup? And it's funny to see the pros try to answer that without sounding condescending. And, they said they were being generous because I think the hypothetical was a 15 handicap. And it was like, what they should shoot. And they say, they would have a hard time breaking 100. I think they wouldn't even come close to 100 in most cases. I think I've heard it said, pretty low handicappers would struggle breaking 100.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like super easy to putt off the greens. You see pros do it all the time, and then once you do, probably just like a mental, crazy mental handicap at that moment. So
right,
couldn't even imagine.
Well, today I want to touch a little more closely about the slogan for the Masters. It's a tradition unlike any other. I want to talk a little bit about some of those traditions, and then some of the traditions that we see out on our course, or just at golf in general. Do you have any Masters traditions, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, I did it this morning, re-downloading the Masters app, which is a lot of people think it's the greatest app of all time, which is incredible. I mean, it doesn't freeze up ever, and yeah, whatever they hired did a fantastic job. So I applaud that guy.
Well, I don't think they do a whole lot of things halfway in that organization. I have a lady who started following me on Twitter who said that on Sundays of the Masters, they do the recreation of the Champions Dinner. So she sent a picture of what they did for the year Hideki won. Mm-hmm. And, this year probably a little easier to recreate than that meal. Mm-hmm. But I thought that's something I got to look into. I mean, I've got to maybe start doing that as my tradition. That would be like awesome to be able to just set out a spread and have that kind of fun day on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Seems like a lot of work, to be honest, to get all that stuff together. At the last second.
And some of the stuff you're like, even if I followed a recipe, it wouldn't turn out the way that it did at the Champions Dinner. Yeah. But it still would be an awful lot of fun. So, and it seems like they have ribeye a lot. So if nothing else, it's just an excuse to have ribeye. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of traditions of the Masters. There's no doubt that it is an event. Augusta is a place that doesn't fail to take itself seriously. It certainly has many things that are important to it, and many traditions that exist. You mentioned one, maybe it's a rule, maybe it's a tradition, but it's a way of saying they set themselves apart, and that is you can't run. That was one that kind of jumped out to you in your thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the fact that you can like put a chair down anywhere on the course and it'll stay untouched for the entire time that you're away from it. Like that's crazy to me. That's awesome. I wish more places were like that, where you could trust your fellow patrons, like that.
Well, that's another aside here. The Masters, some people I think who aren't golf fans might say that it's too entitled, too elitist, and have some problems with that. We see there's more kind of culture wars or economic wars and status wars and stuff. And like I said, on places like Twitter, people just will argue about anything. Okay. But what I think is, and certainly we don't want to be we want to be special without this, without being jerks about it. Okay. So, anyway, what I like about the Masters is it's a place that somehow in a world where there's standards just degrading everywhere, every institution is kind of watered down in some way from what it used to be. It's harder and harder to hold your standards. Certainly in churches, that's often the case. In schools, you see that there's kind of been a downgrading of respect or whatever. Same thing in families. Institutions are degrading, and yet the Masters and Augusta is able to take this standard and keep it at a sky-high level in a way that most places aren't able to. And I think that's part of the unique and special nature of it. Like, it's set apart. We're saying here's something special. Let's treat it as special. I think that's a good thing, and I think we should have more arenas in our life where we do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they've kind of dialed back on some of their rules maybe a little bit, but not all of them. They still have the no cell phone policy, which is crazy to me, but that's cool.
Imagine, and how many? I'm sure there's some people who try to sneak, and I'm sure there's some people who bellyache, but by and large, it's just this accepted thing. How many places can you go where somebody's not going to throw a fit if they can't have their cell phone?
I can't think of any.
Yeah. The fact that they can do that says this is special ground. This is a special place. They even try to set themselves apart with the tradition of calling their fans patrons, to give it a classier name, to say we're not looking at you as fanatical, but we view you as patrons. And one person's pretentiousness might be another person's beautiful tradition of classing up the persons who come to the tournament.
Yeah, I saw Randall Chambly talking about that, about why they call them patrons and not fans, because they don't want to view themselves as fanatical, and it actually kind of made a lot of sense to me.
Right.
I can't really say anything negative about that.
That gets back to the whole just kind of setting yourself apart. Another one, this is one that I'm not sure I could get into. That is that year after year after year, people go back, and the snack bar menu is always making its way around Twitter now. People talking how inexpensive it is. I mean, that's a beautiful tradition, is that they keep the prices low. But the pimento cheese sandwich, I'd venture a guess that people eat one pimento cheese sandwich a year, and it's at Augusta. But they keep that tradition. It's not like how many people like their death row meals. You'd see pimento cheese sandwich. Okay, I've not had one, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say pimento cheese sandwiches are not the best food ever made.
Yeah, I actually made some probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I hosted a couple of my buddies and just kind of made them just for fun. Surprisingly hard to find pimentos in Wisconsin. I think that's more of like a southern thing, but yeah, they were pretty good. But yeah, I wouldn't,
You wouldn't make them if it wasn't for the Masters.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's this tradition. You go down to Augusta, you get pimento cheese sandwich, you get egg salad sandwich, some other things. I
heard the ice cream sandwich is to die for, but yeah.
Yeah. I hear that too. I heard somebody say the other day it was too sweet for them, but I mean, we're quibbling here. You put peach ice cream between cookies, it can't be bad. It's got to be good.
I would think.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the traditions that got a lot of buzz on Twitter this year, I saw, is the Champions Dinner. That's a super cool tradition. They get all the former champions together. The previous year's champion gets to make a meal or pick the menu. And so now it's this annual thing where people critique the menu. And I thought Scotty Scheffler did pretty good. Oh, I saw a lot of people referring to it as an Applebee's menu.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I heard there's burgers on there and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, he has sliders Scotty style, which from what I can tell is he puts French fries in them. I'm not on board with that. I mean,
no.
Yeah. I think some sort of bang bang shrimp type of thing. Texas chili. Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah, steak. You gotta have steak, right?
He had ribeye or fish, and I'm picturing who got the fish. Come on.
Yeah, they're watching their diet.
Yeah, right. And then what looks like the most amazing thing ever: these chocolate chip cookie skillets. And then with vanilla ice cream on them. So, that's an awesome tradition, though, to get the guys together. You look forward to seeing that picture of all the former champions in their green jackets. I'm sure they look forward to going. They're all millionaires and super famous, but that's a day where they get together with their equals And they also, I'm sure they get to eat plenty of good meals, but this is one that is probably one they look forward to and pretty special. And by posting the menu and making an event out of it, we kind of feel like we get to share in it. I was thinking, excuse me, who do I want to win the Masters? And I was thinking, in terms of who would have the best Champions Dinner. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not going to go to the Champions Dinner ever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but it's kind of fun to talk about it. Like Rory, I think like English food and Irish food is not very good. You kind of maybe got fish and chips or bangers and mash as your option. So I'm picturing, it kind of feels to me like Rory's year. We'll get to that later, but
I heard. I think Sandy Lyle. I think he's Scottish, and I think he served some Scottish food one time, and it wasn't very popular. Obviously,
yeah, I would imagine not. And I hope somebody like Chinese or Japanese or Korean wins. I love Asian food, so yeah. The one that I did see, Bubba Watson, man, he's just still getting skewered for his when he had chicken breast and like kids birthday cake. Yeah.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Right. All right. Another tradition, I briefly mentioned it. The par 3 contest is something that happens every year on Wednesday before the tournament. I love it. I get it. It's not hardcore golf. And I think sometimes golf Twitter is kind of an outlier where a lot of the people who participate in that they want to watch the people on the app on the range and their shot tracking and watch every bit of the 400 golf balls that Bryson DeChambeau hit the other day. But I don't think most people are as into that. So I think most people probably enjoy the par 3 contest quite a bit.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think the players love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess not being a family man myself, I wish it was a little more serious. It kind of like whets the appetite a little bit for what's about to come, Masters weekend. But no, it's cool for sure.
So the hole in one that was hit in a non-serious way wasn't good enough for you?
No, it was good. It was good.
So, I mean, I think it's just, and one of the things I want to do this year, if I can find a way in the Caddie Tales store, is provide caddy uniforms for Halloween. Because, I mean, you see the wives and the kids in those caddy uniforms. It looks awesome. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you dress up like that for Halloween? One tradition that I think is awkward at the Masters, and I'm surprised they still do it because they could do so many better things. I don't think it looks good at all. It's not good for television. It's weird, is the actual culmination of the event, and that is the giving of the green jacket in Butler Cabin.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of looked it up today because I knew we'd be talking about this, and then I guess that's where they keep the coats. So
right, but it just feels like you should have a large crowd of people outside on some beautiful, part of the grounds as the sun is coming down. It feels like the scene might be a more appropriate scene than a few people cramped into a little room and there being no applause. It just feels weird. And then you got the former champion putting on the jacket and then kind of take it off and stuff. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I think it was like Jordan Spieth the year he kind of choked it away a little bit. I think he had to present the green jacket, and that was a little awkward if I remember right. So yeah, it can be kind of awkward if the guy's in contention and ends up losing to the guy he's got to give the jacket to.
Yeah. I mean, I like that that's a way they do it, but man, it just feels like there should be more fanfare, that they should do it on the 18th green or something. And it feels more suitable for the large event that it is. Now, there's traditionalists out there. We're talking about Masters traditions who would probably hate everything I just said because they love the traditions of the Masters, and Butler Cabin is one of them. So more power to them. I get the power of tradition. I get it. I just think that's one of the awkward ones.
Yeah. I mean, I guess presenting it on the 18th green, that's what everyone else does. So maybe they want to set themselves apart a little bit. So
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that rationale. Let's enjoy these next few days of the Masters. It's going to be fun. I'm excited to watch. I like that my family gets into it. I mentioned the other day that my daughter texted me asking how excited I was. This isn't something that would have been on anybody's radar a few years ago, but now it's part of our life, and I'm really thankful for that because golf can be watched in a way too that I don't know. You can still spend time with your family while you're watching it. You know, it's not like overtime of an NHL game where you're like standing up, NHL playoff game where you're standing up and like you don't want to be casually chit chatting with somebody at that point. You know, so
it's a lot more passive
right,
watching.
Right. Real quickly, Nick. So this got me thinking about some of the traditions that we see, and some that are important to people. One of them being just we meet a lot of people who have the tradition of taking an annual golf trip with the same crew. And I think that's I am sad in my life that I did not grow up like going hunting every year with people. And it's not even the act of hunting per se. It's I see people who have that tradition who look forward to it like so much. And then you have the same thing in golf where I remember my first ever double loop was a group of guys from Nebraska with a second loop. And they got together every year since and they went to elementary school together. And I think if I remember correctly, a bunch of them still lived in the area, but they were spread around the country some. And so this was their time to see each other. And I thought, I wish I had that kind of group. And even if I didn't have a group to go on a golf trip with that goes that far back, I kind of want to start one, with fellow caddies or whatever, that every November after the season, we head off somewhere and go golfing, or every April before the start of the season, we go golfing somewhere. And we start to look forward to it. And we have a group text about it. Like I'm picturing the people who are coming to Whistling Straits in a few weeks. There's group texts going on today with excitement about it. And I want to be a part of that in my own life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got some friends that do that. And it seems awesome. And we do have the annual caddy get-together at the end of the year, which is usually pretty cool. I think you were there a couple of years ago, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely not like a group chat thing, like where you're talking about it for months and months and anticipation for sure.
Right. One tradition that I think is funny, it's a golf tradition. It's not unique to Whistling Straits, but that is birdie juice. And I don't know why I was thinking about it. Maybe, you know what I find interesting about birdie juice? In my experience, who has more birdie, who uses it the most?
Ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I remember the group we had was insistent upon us joining them for little birdie juice, and we had to obviously decline. But I don't know if they were even celebrating for birdies. I think it might have been pars. I don't think they were all that great. I remember
a group of older ladies back in the day who were like just foul-mouthed in a fun way, super laid-back, chill, and whenever somebody got a birdie, just making a big deal about the birdie juice. And I'm like, this is not what I expected from this group. And it was super awesome. But yeah, maybe it's because they get less birdies. No offense, ladies. I don't know. But
maybe so there's know how to celebrate better than men,
Well, I think there are certainly the excitement of a birdie. For a lady, they get it that's a good thing. Whereas with some men, they're still walking off the green, shaking their head because it wasn't an eagle or something. It's like, yeah.
Still thinking about that 3-putt last hole.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. One tradition that's also big that gets a lot of debate: drinks after a hole in one. Mm-hmm. Should you have to buy drinks?
Yeah. I get where the tradition comes from. So everybody's not just claiming that. They get a hole in one, so everyone has to buy them drinks. You're almost kind of punished a little bit for getting a hole in one. But I remember I saw a kid get a hole in one time. There were some interns from Medina, and they weren't of age, so our course obviously wasn't going to serve them alcohol. But the kid called into work for the next day. Right then and there, told his boss he got a hole in one. And it assured me that he was going to be doing some making up after the round. So
Yeah, right.
That was probably one of the cooler things I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I still remember, I tell the story often about the guy who got one and then didn't buy drinks for people.
What a scumbag.
Yeah. I mean, he was a piece of work as it was, and not the most likable guy, to be honest. And he didn't. And he kept the thing was, he kept bragging about how much money he had made and how he retired young, and then he didn't buy drinks. And the other two guys were not. He didn't know them, and so that's where it's almost even more appropriate to buy drinks, because it's a hospitality thing, you know. And that was just awkward, because the other two guys felt more than entitled to have been bought drinks. They were pretty upset that it didn't happen. So, I know there's a lot of debate about it, because if you're strapped for cash, you don't want to break somebody, but there's ways to handle. I think the tradition of celebrating is one that should never go away. I mean, we should celebrate big accomplishments. We should take time to have fun with it, and golf should be fun. One that's always a special moment, it never gets old to me, is the handshakes on 18. I love the gentlemanly nature of it all, the kindness, hey, whatever happened in the round before this, we're going to take a moment and have some gratitude and some thanks and be thankful for the people that we were with. And we as caddies get to engage in that. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't like, this kind of might sound bad, but I think I like it because it's like always a time for my player to kind of reflect upon the job that I did for him that day, hopefully. And yeah, I don't want that to come across the wrong way, like I'm, making it all about me, but it's a nice moment for sure.
Well, you get a good indication on it. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes they just shake your hand and whatever, but sometimes they show a great bit of gratitude, and that's very meaningful.
Absolutely.
You want to have done a job well done. And so sometimes you're in a hurry because the round took way too long, and you're just like, okay, let's get up top and say goodbye. But for the most part, you're just really taking a moment to give thanks. And I love that about golf. It still happens. I always think about like the professional golfers at the end of a big tournament, especially like somebody who's in the final group, but then they just tank it that day. How hard it is to grin and bear it, but they do it, and that's important. Just like in the NHL, one of the cool things is they shake hands after a playoff series. Those things should never be taken for granted. They should never be forgotten. I love it. It's a great tradition. One that can go away is the tradition of joking about taking your pants down if you don't hit it past the ladies' tee. And the only reason why is we as caddies hear so many things 1,000 times a year, it gets hard to fake laugh at them.
Yeah, that's true. That's one that I've never seen like acted out. Fortunately,
that's why I bring it up. Is like nobody actually ever does it, so like it's just a tradition of joking about it, and so we've all heard it. Let's just move on with life, all right? But hey, traditions are good. Change is inevitable in life. There's always changes, and we don't want to be fuddy-duddies who hate every single change that ever takes place in the world. But we also don't want to embrace change for change's sake. We want to give thanks for traditions, and golf is absolutely a sport where that is fostered, and it's a beautiful thing, and no more so than the Masters. So enjoy watching. What's your prediction real quick, Nick?
I think a live golfer is actually going to win the Masters this year. I think maybe Joaquin Niemann or DeChambeau or Koepka possibly. So I like those three. I
don't necessarily disagree with you. I had that feeling the other day. I'm like, it just feels like maybe a live player it'll be a good opportunity for somebody from live to remind the golf world that they're still there, for those who don't follow it at all, which I know is most fans. So yeah, I could see that. And Bryson, something about him he just seems like maybe it's him. So I wouldn't bet against him per se. I've been debating. I think it feels like Rory's year. He's been playing well. You know, and I think it'd be cool to have that scene where people are just happy for the guy who's never won, and they're, you know, you can picture it probably wouldn't be like Tiger in 2019, but it would still be pretty festive if he won. My dark horse is Akshay Bhatia. I just feel like he's always hanging around. Yeah. I had gotten in a habit like a year or two ago of picking John Rahm for every tournament.
I did that with Scotty.
Yeah. Because I just feel like he's that good. But to me, this is a totally different conversation. But I feel like if there's any person who quietly regrets going to live, it's John Rahm.
Yeah. Maybe not so quietly, too, at times.
I mean, Brooks the other day kind of opened up about it, but I don't think it has been good for his career. And I don't think he'd admit it in a big way, but I just don't think he's happy there. But that's just my opinion. So I could see him breaking on and reminding people he's still great. And then, I mean, really, Scotty Scheffler, do you ever want to bet against?
No, never count him out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but let's just, for the sake of picking one, say Rory.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. But whoever, any of those I could see winning, and any of yours I could see winning.
It's anybody's game.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, Nick, we have been doing a segment, and this is the last time we'll do it since we're going to be able to start talking about loops soon. And that is heavy baggage. We have been looking for ways to lighten the load of people this winter, be more intentional about saying, hey, life can be hard. We're carrying around heavy baggage full of stuff. How can we be a servants? How can we be life caddies, so to speak? Anything either this week or just in general over the winter that you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah, well, I knew this was going to be the last time we did this, so I went to the food pantry and donated some things I had laying around that I wasn't using, so try to help out a little bit. I'm
surprised to hear you had food.
Wow, thanks a lot, bud. Appreciate you.
Hey, folks out there, Nick really needs to get back to caddying, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say it was anything good, but yeah.
Yeah, right. No, good. You know, I'm drawing to an end on working at the Sober House for the season. Look for ways to stay connected in the off season. It's been a real blessing. Got some new residents this week, and that's a good thing. And one in particular, I mean, I'm just thinking of, doesn't even have a pot to pee in. You know, you're coming totally broken. And the conversations had with him exemplify the whole theme, you know, and that is we're going to walk alongside you. We're going to help make this easier for you. And we're going to focus on what's next. I like to talk about a next shot mindset. And had the chance to use those very words with the guy this week and say, we're not going to think about or worry about what happened in the past. We're going to focus on what's next, your next shot. And it's full of hope and opportunity. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities to do this. And it's in my heart now that I want to do it wherever, whether it's at a sober house or on the golf course. You're still trying to do your best to make somebody's day better. And hopefully we'll have many, many opportunities this spring and summer to be able to do that, to just interact with people, be inserted into this special day for them, and make it the best day possible for them. So I'm pretty excited about it. I know you are too. And we are excited about sharing it with you listeners. Like, come along with us for the journey. We're going to have a lot more specifics to talk about these next 6 months about certain shots or certain players or whatever. We'll share as much as we can without getting in trouble from our managers. So, yeah. But until then, we want to remind you that great truth that I had the chance to remind guys of this week. No matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter how out of bounds, no matter how deep the bunker, there's always a next shot full of hope and opportunity. So take yours.